So I am a huge believer that if the spaces in your home bring you joy, you will therefore be free to be the absolute best version of yourself within those spaces. And that includes your kitchen. If your kitchen is functional and reflects your personal style and is free of clutter, not only will you enjoy your time in the kitchen more, but I can guarantee you, you will find yourself cooking more delicious, nutritious, and beautiful meals. It doesn't matter what the size of the space is or what your budget is, I promise you this is possible. And in today's video, I'm going to show you how. Step number one is to just get rid of the excess. Try to get rid of things that don't necessarily match or fit your same personal style anymore. A good place to start is to say, I'm only going to keep 2 to 3 sets of something per person. So if you have a family of 4, you would keep only between 8 to 12 cups, and that's it. When you're trying to pick and choose which utensils and which plates and things that you want to keep, try to imagine the way you want to feel when you're eating. For me, it was like, I wanted to feel warm, organic, so I decided to keep more warmer tones, and I got rid of anything that was plastic or artificial feeling, and I only kept the things that really sparked joy when I held them in my hand. In my house, I've got myself, a teenager, and a toddler. Here's an example of all of the items that I keep for my toddler. Try to streamline and truly think about what you use to cook on a daily basis. And for me, it really comes down to just these key items. I keep just a handful of knives that I love, and I keep them nice and sharpened all the time. Step number 2 would be to keep the items that you cook with out on display so they look beautiful and so you'll reach for them easily. For me, that meant transferring all of my oils that I use on a normal basis into these dark colored squeeze bottles, which makes them very easy to access, easy to pour, and easy to use with my cooking. So I'm reaching for the oils very easily, and it makes cooking a breeze. I also keep the spices that I use every single day down where I can see them and in beautiful containers, which is mostly just salt and pepper for me. And I do also keep a little bit of Celtic salt and some freeze-dried cilantro and parsley. Tip number 3 is to clean out your pantry. Get rid of all of the junk and the things that you do eat all of the time. Consider trying to buy in bulk to reduce your waste, but you can get these amazing large mason jars in all sorts of various sizes. And this is the way I love to store all of my snacks for my kids. And it just really makes everything look beautiful and look chic, and it keeps them nice and fresh. Now, if you want my pro tip on how I keep all of my dry goods fresh within the mason jars, stick around to the end of this video and I will share that with you. Tip number 4 is to only leave things out on the counter that you use every single day. For me, these items include my Berkey water filter, my Instant Pot, which I'm constantly having bone broth in 24/7 basically, my Vitamix mixer I use every single day, my Soda Stream, my Magic Bullet, and my air fryer / convection oven. I use every single one of these every single day, so therefore they're the only things that I keep up on my counter. The things that I don't use every day that I keep stored underneath would be things like my rice cooker, my tea kettle, and any sort of baking containers that I would only use every once in a while. Tip number 5 may not work for everybody, but for me it truly helps me and reminds me to be cooking delicious and nutritious food, and that is to keep my main pans on the stove all day. And I cook with cast iron, so cast iron is really heavy, and if I had to like constantly be putting them down and lifting them back up, just that idea of having to take them out from somewhere where they're stored would probably discourage me from actually cooking on them. If you guys want to see a video of how I take care of my cast irons and what sizes and brands that I have, let me know down in the comments and I'd be happy to do that for you if enough of you guys want to see something like that. And tip number 6 is going to be the hardest one of all, and that's to make sure that you do not make the kitchen the collection space for crap. This happens so often in our busy lives. We just find ourselves dropping purses and keys and all the little knickknacks from here and there. But treat the kitchen like a sanctuary and tell your family and tell your children, listen, this is not where we're gonna throw things. Please help me keep this space beautiful and clean. Maybe put a nice basket on the side for them that they can put their things in. And that means putting away dishes when they're dry and not just leaving things out on the counter just because. Really utilize the spaces that you have. So I promised you if you stuck around to the end of the video, I'll give you my pro tip on how to keep all your dry goods nice and clean when they're in the cabinet. And this is the pro tip. You know those little silica packets that come in like everything these days? If you buy a pair of shoes, if you buy seaweed and it comes a little seaweed packet, I keep all of those things in a Ziploc bag in my kitchen. And anytime I'm refilling my dry good containers, I just put a couple of those in there and it absorbs all the moisture and keeps things so nice and fresh. So just make sure you don't eat it. We all know not to eat it, right? Funny story, my toddler actually opened one up one day and I saw him putting one in his mouth, like a little bead of it, and I freaked out. I like almost called poison control, and I looked up online. Basically, it's just a drying agent, so it's not toxic, especially if you only had one little bead of it. The only reason why it says do not consume is because if you eat too many of them, it's gonna dehydrate you. So it's not actually like crazy poisonous, it's just gonna extra dehydrate you and then you'll die of dehydration. So do not eat silica packets. Thank you so much for watching. Honestly, you guys, everything that I have in my kitchen, I have bought at Target, Amazon, Ross. I am such a bargain shopper, so I'm gonna put links for as many of the things that I have in my video down below, and hopefully you guys can use those to transform your space as well, because I know what a difference it makes when you walk into a space and you just feel joy and you just want to be there. And I hope that that's what this video does for you and your kitchen.